And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Solar Expanse in our Fission all the way run in the third part of sort of balancing the budget here in the stream. And we are close, 16k short per month. On the other hand, that means I'm in less of a rush to be getting more and more stuff back to Earth and can focus more and more on getting things off of Earth, mainly people. We stopped off looking here at Mars. One thing I believe, if I remember correctly, is there is an achievement for getting 5,000 people on Mars. So expanding Mars, the population of Mars, is not a terrible plan. And then again, would get us more money. Would also improve the communication satellites, although I think we've actually, we're pretty close to getting those maxed out without putting more up there. Although, again, it would be pretty easy to put more up there. And in Earth's waiting room... Okay, Earth's waiting room is ready for ships to come pick stuff up. I've got 2 Hephaestai just stopped somewhere. Was that at Jupiter? No, that was at Lutetia. 2 have arrived at Lutetia. What do I want coming back from Lutetia? Well, the answer is probably rare metals and metal. The moon has 26 years and 20 years. Other place to go would be Jupiter. Jupiter could use a rare metal supply drop. Okay, so let's get one of those Hephaestai going to, or not Jupiter, to Mars. Rare metal to Mars. Lutetia to Mars. 1 Hephaestus. Add. Full load of rare metal. No launch vehicle. Optimal transit. Actually, I think the one you were on was probably pretty good. 1 year, 2 months. If we go optimal, 1 year, 10 months. I'm on board the 1 year, 2 months. 1 year, 2 months. Take the minimum fuel for the 1 year, 2 month transit. Okay, the other one is then going to go to the moon. Half and half, rare metal, metal. Year, 11 months, year, 9 months. So it's spending more time sitting at Lutetia for the transit, but actually spends less in the transit. And uses less fuel. That'll be fine. Okay, so I got the 4 Hephaestai on the move, or on the plan to move again. Let time pass. More communication satellites getting done. Okay, so we've just had Jupiter orbit to Earth complete. That was the rain returning, which presumably brought back a bunch of hydrogen. I do want to go back out to Saturn to pick up nitrogen. Oh, that reminds me, I can do some oxygen distribution to the Jupiter system. Callisto we've made breathable, although very low pressure from a composition standpoint. We can do that both on Ganymede, Amalthea, and Io. And the hope maybe on Io is that would be enough to get Io able to be habitable, in that I can put someone on Io for expanding radioactive mining. And metal mining, because there's a lot of metal there that is... Okay, to get into the megaton rate, we're back down to sort of Callisto levels. Yeah, back down to Callisto levels that we do a little too hard. But if we get it breathable, that should help lower the habitability, and I think if we get the percentage positive, then we can start putting people on it. gonna bring 100 humans to Callisto. No, I want the Urain, which is what we got here. The Urain needs to make the run back out to Saturn. Go Saturn to Titan, or yeah, let's just go straight to Saturn. And we can go over to Titan to pick up the nitrogen for the return trip. It's basically gonna fly empty. They want to come from Earth orbit, not Earth. Use the orbital hydrogen. So, constant impulse, flying empty. It would be 283 to fly to Saturn, even on optimal, so... Or 266 on optimal. So, just cranking the engines. We don't have the thrust efficiency on the Urains to do constant acceleration out to Saturn. Although the fact that it's giving us the option is just telling you how powerful the Urain is. For shorter distances, it probably would be viable. 34 tons is the min. Well, that's a 5-year transit. I'm willing to pay 200 tons, let's say. Which is... Actually, let's do like 340 for a faster transit. There we go. Get it down to a year and a month. And that is really... We're just slamming the engine there. It's going real fast. Yeah, so I think that's the close approach line there. So we're setting out before there because it takes time to physically travel there. And that's why it's doing that sort of shape. Okay. Okay, so we got you set up for transit. I will want to make more Urains going forward. Not quite there with the exotic alloy yet. Earth orbit to Jupiter. You've arrived. Okay. I think you want to immediately just go back with more fuel. So we get another Urain to just do the fuel hauling. Okay. Optimal return window, max fuel. Get enough for another fuel miner. Like I'll take that to orbit. Gotta take the minimum amount of fuel while you do that. Earth launch has begun. Callisto is at, or the Prometheus is at Jupiter. Ready to do some distribution of gases. So I will do the right ratio this time. We'll do 800 tons of nitrogen and then 200 tons of oxygen. So first, Io. Io orbit. Prometheus. Take 800 tons of nitrogen with you. Minimum fuel. Just gonna go and drop that at orbit. Then Io to Jupiter. We want the Prometheus to return empty. Minimum fuel for the return trip. And then want the Prometheus at Jupiter orbit to go back to Io. Retrieve 200 tons of oxygen. Oh, it's okay. We're gonna hold off on that mission for a moment. Okay, edit. set out on the first one. And now that it's set out, I should be safe enough to do the second one. No, it's still showing it in that orbit. Okay, we'll wait until it does the whole there and back again. There we go. So now we know it's properly in Jupiter orbit, so that's not going to be a problem for it to go back to Io. I guess we'll send to Io orbit. Prometheus. And the 200 tons of oxygen. Save a little bit of time. I can have the Kronos basically the same. I'm gonna have it do it to Almathea instead. So Jupiter to Almathea. Got hydrogen on Almathea. Almathea has basically no atmosphere, so we'll just land on atmosphere with the Kronos. And resources, nitrogen, 800 tons. Oops. 800 tons. Add resources. Oxygen. 200 tons. Okay, so Almathea. Screw up. Wait a couple days. Almathea. Yep, there it is. Kronos, please return to Jupiter. Oh, now Almathea has some radioactives. We'll take the fizzles back on the return trip. Kronos, pick up the fizzles. Bring it back with you. And actually bring some of the carbon back as well. Minimum fuel for the return trip. Io orbit. To Io orbit to Io. Payload container. Nitrogen. Oxygen. 200 tons. Next. Okay. Then on Io, we can now release those gases. And the same on Almathea. Now it'll take a little while for that to calculate. Oh, and let's get the Kronos, because just the simplicity of having the Kronos go out and do it is just saves so much time. Kronos to... no, I did Callisto. Kronos to Ganymede. Oh, I pulled the mines off of Ganymede at some point, so we've just been running off of the backlog of water. We've had enough water that hasn't been a problem. should probably then make a water mine at some point, but we got 178 years of water clearing some trades, so I think we're fine. Let's do a return trip of that polymer to Jupiter with the Kronos. We'll have the Pelican do the launch, because I think it's more fuel than the Kronos for launch. There we go. In the meantime, release the gases. And if that worked out... Yeah, Io is considered to have a correct oxygen composition mix. With a Twitch chatter, putting a waving cat emoji in chat. Yeah, so that has improved the habitability. It hasn't improved it enough. Io is still uninhabitable to human life. Emotional support oxygen is not enough to save Io. Elmathea. Elmathea is not warm enough. My nitrogen, my oxygen, both froze. So, won't do anything on Elmathea. Callisto we did earlier. It had an effect on Callisto. Did it work on Ganymede? Did work on Ganymede. Improving food efficiency there. And we just got bioreactors done. Bioreactors, I believe, was a food production efficiency on the farms. Quickly. Yeah. Hydroponic farms produce 10% more food. So yeah, now I can support 3 times as many people on Ganymede. We'd have to put more housing there, so I'd have to bring more metal in. Although that wouldn't necessarily be too hard. I could launch the metal using Kronos from Io, and then drag that to Ganymede. It'd be pretty easy to do. Okay, that's not a terrible plan. Let's plan on doing that plan. Kronos, Io. Yes, you're gonna land on Io. Bring... How much hydrogen do I still have on Io? We've landed with some before. I've got enough. Okay, just fly empty. Mars arrives at Earth. Okay. I just dumped the crew modules on Earth, because at that point the waiting room, the Earth waiting room was empty. It isn't anymore. Okay, so I'm thinking, let's bring another 400 people to Mars. $500 people? 400 and 500. Do 400. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. That'll be enough habitat space for them. The Earth Prometheus. We go back to Mars. I will take from the waiting room. That way we can get the launch whenever it is convenient for Earth. Prometheus and module. Take the radioisotope generator. 4 of those, and we'll take like 100 food. There's 100 food. And as soon as that launches for Mars, that's a decent tick off in the future for the Mars launch, right? It's over there, about 6 months out. We'll ship more people from Earth into the waiting room. Not Jupiter. I am. You're still outbound. Okay, Kronos. Can you take 1,000 tons of metal to Ganymede? Yes. Okay, with 1,000 tons of metal in Ganymede, I can build more housing, I can build more extraction. Our current food production, in theory, can support 3 times the population on Ganymede. So let's make space for that. My current habitat space, in fact, is not even enough for the current people on here, because somehow we've got 3 more people than can live in our living space. They're cramming themselves in there. Underground hab. I need how many? So if we're gonna triple the number of people here, I need 5. Also, I'm going to want to extract some water, so the water is no longer negative. And the big things we're extracting here is water and carbon. How much carbon are we extracting? A little under a ton. When do you run out? 47 years, so not an immediate rush. Let's grab another one of you. And then, can I get more? No, that would be ally. Polymer production would be ally. Okay. Glass would also be ally. Anyway, this water is going to melt on Ganymede if I get Ganymede hot enough. So there's an argument here that actually, how much water do I want on Ganymede? We can check that. It wants 7.8 megatons. So yeah, we can mine a chunk of Ganymede's water and not be too concerning, because we can melt all of that. In fact, I would probably want to melt all of it. That we probably want to mine, and that we probably want to melt. Okay. Although for the moment, I think that's fine. The balance here is probably fine. Okay. Do you want Kronos to take anything when it leaves? Leave the metal there in case I want to build more. Does anything else in the system need carbon? Callisto. Callisto needs carbon. Have Kronos take the jump over to Callisto, drop off carbon? Sure. Assuming the Kronos can leave with the existing hydrogen on the planet. Oh, I can take it back to launch, that'll be a little more fuel efficient, I think, for the launch. Doesn't save me that much, but might want to do another hydrogen drop on Ganymede. Where's that Prometheus? There's the Prometheus. Just orbit. Can I get you going to Jupiter? And then at Jupiter, can I have you pick up hydrogen to drop off at Ganymede? More communications, how it would come online on Earth. Ganymede arrived at Callisto. Jupiter arrived at Ganymede. Okay. There's our hydrogen, so I've got the hydrogen for launching. Do I leave you empty on Callisto in the case of the Kronos? No, let's get the Kronos back to Jupiter. I'm not going to take anything at the moment. We're just going to send it empty. Prometheus, I also want to get back to Jupiter. And again, flying, empty. There we go. Okay, so we do a little bit faster because the micro-heavy stuff we just finished there in time. Although I now have my exotic alloys. 50 exotic alloys. Please take that to Earth orbit. On the Prometheus, or on the Prometheus in orbit. Just take 50. Round 50. Take 350 glass and 300 electronics and 100 polymer. Riding the Pelican up. Use the minimum amount of fuel for the transfer. Launches in 3 days and then flies to Earth orbit, where I think that will be enough to get another one of our maximally efficient fission ships. Rain, yes. Got the alloys, got the exotics, got the fissiles, got the electronics. The Rain is under production. In 180 days, we will have a second Rain. This one will probably have one job and one job only, that is drag hydrogen back from Jupiter to support launching off of Earth. Okay, finished up the metal mines that we had queued up. We're now onto the habitats for the inbound Martian settlers. I think I want them to go back to making metal afterwards. Yeah, let's queue up another 10 metal mines afterwards. Fission arrived at Mars. Okay, I was getting a little worried at how low I had the rare metal on Mars. Apparently I need even more, so I'm actually thinking I'll send that Hephaestus right back to Lutetia. Mars, Lutetia. Can I do it with Martian orbital hydrogen? Probably. I'd be fine with them burning the entire orbital stockpile. Taking no cargo with you. Need no launch vehicles, you're going from orbit. You need a minimum of 7 tons to get to Lutetia. That, of course, is going to be a very slow burn, so we'd like you to go faster. What does 50 tons look like? 9 months. That is faster. What does 100 tons look like? 7. I like the 50 tons better. The 50 tons. Yeah, 10 months is probably good enough. Mars orbit. Push some of the Martian hydrogen to orbit. Because the Martian orbital hydrogen is getting low. Communication satellites on Earth continue to come online. Close I haven't all this built. Quite a while. Habitat. First batch of habitats are done on Mars. I'm building 2 things at a time on Mars because I got a pair of construction modules here. A Rain completed on Earth. So you are actually going to get a cyclical mission. Earth to Jupiter. Orbit, technically. So actually it's going to be Earth orbit to Jupiter orbit. The Rain. Oh, I need to specify that it is a cyclical mission. Go farther in. Rain. Earth orbit to Jupiter. Nothing. Jupiter orbit to Earth. Hydrogen. Wait until cargo is full. Need no launch vehicles because we're in orbit to orbit. Optimal transfers. Mission ends. Never. Keep bringing the hydrogen back. It's not going to be particularly fast transits back and forth because even though it's using the optimal... Oh, the optimal should be relatively quick, but it'll be spending a lot of time waiting at both ends. Jupiter orbit to Earth has arrived. I think you brought hydrogen. I feel like you brought hydrogen. So you probably want to be outbound with people. Which means I probably want more people in orbit, because I want to be outbound with them. Right, because I want to bring more to Ganymede. I'm looking at 500 more people in Ganymede. 400 more people in Ganymede. Okay, so Earth. Let's get the Pelican, bringing crew compartments to Earth orbit. Oops. $400 people. Let's also... I'm going to buy some food off the open market. Sure. Buy what's on the market. One Pelican load to orbit. Wait 3 days. Now Earth orbit has plenty of people. I want 400 of these people going to Ganymede. Earth to Ganymede. On the Avestus. 400 people. This is a trip out to Jupiter, so we're going to take 600 supplies along. They may be in transit for a while. Also, I think this is a situation where it actually makes sense to bring our radioisotope generators along. We'll take both radioisotope generators. Yeah. Launch vehicle, none. Because you're starting an orbit. Okay, so if you take the optimal transit, you aren't going fast enough with the 200 food. You're also waiting for like a year in orbit. If I give you 300 tons of fuel, say go fastest, does that help? That does help. This is people. I am willing to burn extra hydrogen to get people places. A year and 5 days, yeah. I'll tolerate that, that makes sense. You are go. Earth orbit arrived at Saturn. That is the rain arriving in the Saturn system. Okay, I'm gonna have the rain drag hydrogen to Titan. Saturn orbit. You're not launching from Saturn. Saturn's got a lot of gravity. Hydrogen. So we're going to basically load up Titan with hydrogen so that the Kronos can boost the nitrogen off of Titan. Saturn orbit arrived at Titan. So, hydrogen's been delivered. Titan orbit. Kronos, I would like you to deliver more nitrogen to Jupiter. That's a bit of a late start date game. Expecting me to wait for 15 years. Yeah, we're gonna have to go a little faster than that. There we go. It's still 2 years and 9 months to get there. Jupiter to... Oh, it's basically Saturn to Jupiter with no wait. Takes a while. Or presumably not in, like, the best launch window as well. 2 years, 9 months. We're burning quite a bit of fuel, but that's fine. That's one of the reasons we want more rain, so we can accept that they take a while to get places out in the outer system. Still working through those on you. Still working through those. Well, still making more electronics. We're not up to 50 yet on the alloys on the moon. And the next one's probably going to be hauling stuff to the moon. I can build up the moon production more. That mode. Do I want more carbon on the moon? Yeah, I probably want more carbon on the moon. Oh, I probably need more hydrogen before we do that. Plugins can be quite a bit expensive for launching. Okay, so I've got all the Hephaestus moving, right? Well, all of them queued up. 4 of them queued up, yes. Both of them Rains queued up. So let's let some time pass. Invitation done on Mars. That is a question I haven't asked. Do I have what it takes to make construction modules on Mars? Yes. So I could be building faster on Mars if I just make some more construction modules. I'm gonna splurge on Mars. We'll go up to 10 construction modules on Mars as soon as those metal mines are done. Just so I can build, when I do a shift click, I can do the whole 10 at the same time. Ships are launching. So Earth's waiting room is not empty. That was supposed to be taking people. I'm worried I might have some empty ships now. One of those launches was definitely supposed to be taking some people. Although one of those launches definitely did take people, I think. Oh yeah, the one... Okay, that one took people. There goes the Martian one. So now the Earth waiting room should not be full. Yeah, it's pretty close to full. Should put some more people in orbit anyway. Jupiter orbit to Earth has arrived. The Hephaestus has returned with more hydrogen. Both in orbit and on Earth. Okay. So let's start off by dropping crew compartments to Earth. Empty. So that's 200. I'm going to use some of the small ones here just to be a little bit more... I'm going to bring a few more people up. They're less efficient from tonnage, and that's actually maybe important launching from Earth, because Earth is expensive to launch from. Okay, so that is... actually probably more than I want. What, that would be 60 times 5 is 300, so that's 500 people. I suppose if I'm not gonna keep all of them there, that would be fine. Have the Prometheus and the Hephaestus leave with people. Sure, we'll do that. Either way, we're going to drop this tonnage to Earth. And drop some electronics while now. So. We're getting a little low, although we're not burning through money quite as quick as we were. Okay, so we're going to sell those electronics, that's why we dropped them. 1.25 million for 425, so that's not even all the electronics. And then I do want those compartments going back up to Earth orbit. There we go. So that's all the crew compartments filled with people. That should all be able to fit on a Hephaestus or on a Pelican launch. Let's load up another 200 tons of carbon because I want that to go out to the moon, and 80 tons of supplies to fill the launch. Right, the Pelican up. Did get another buy order, or they put up another sell order for electronics. I can sell off our remaining electronics. I don't think this is including the people we just launched, but we're up to, or down to negative 10,000. We got people I want to move out to places. One of the places that might be is actually the moon. How much housing do I have on the moon? We'd have to build more housing on the moon. With orbit. 800 tons is what I was going to bring with the Promethei. Vestas want to take people somewhere. You could put another 100 at Callisto. Easily put another 100 at Callisto. Probably even put more than 100 at Callisto if I were to build more habitation. We'll build another habitation at Callisto. I will send 200 to Callisto. That'll get us below the 1,000 that we optimally house in the rotating station here. We'll also send off the 2 large compartments. And that'll ride out on the Hephaestus. Needs no launch vehicles leaving from orbit. It probably does need to bring some food along. It's 100 people, so we'll bring 100 supplies. More than we're going to need with 100 supplies, I think. And then you're bringing people, so feel free to use like 300 tons of fuel to get a faster transit. There we go. And then carbon to the moon. Using the Prometheus. Here we go, takes 36 years. I do want more exotic allies. Let's use our allies we produced to make more exotics. Oh, and I have a Festi here in orbit. So the Festi here in orbit should go back to Lutetia. Use that orbital hydrogen, so I'm not using the Pelican launch. And you're flying empty, so you can be pretty... But I brought more hydrogen to than lunar orbit. I haven't. Or I screwed up and spent it already. Yeah, 11 months is actually not that bad. We're apparently pretty close. Yeah, that's only leaving me. Use the minimum amount of fuel, that'll work. And I'll get the Prometheus to go grab more hydrogen from Earth. Or do I launch that from the moon? I'm about to do a launch anyway, so I can do a launch. Yeah, okay, I can do a launch anyway, that'll work. Okay. Luna to Luna orbit, orbital payload container, 50 exotic alloys, 750 glass, or not, 750 electronics, and hydrogen fuel. The Pelican carry 7 kilotons of fuel. We're not going to take that much to orbit. We'll take like 200 to orbit, 2,000 to orbit. Riding up the Pelican. The moon has fairly low gravity. Oops. Close enough. Earth to Earth orbit, Prometheus, exotic alloys. And the electronics. Minimum fuel for the transfer. There we go. So in Earth orbit, I should have everything I think I need for another array. 150 alloys, yes. 50 exotics just arrived. 100 fissiles, and we brought plenty of electronics. Get another array under production. Monthly balance is actually up, not down. Interesting. Although I'm building a lot, so for example, upkeep's trending up. Okay. Okay, so I've got the 10 construction modules on Mars done. Let's start mining very aggressively. That's 20, so it's going to build half of that build at once, and then the other half. Hephaestus. There's an Hephaestus at Lutetia. Where do I want you to go? Do I want you to go to the moon or the Mars? Or the Earth? Mars would appreciate some more rare metals. We're down to 8.3 years. Okay. So I'll have you do a rare metal run to Mars. And apparently we're like right at optimal window. That's fair enough. Okay. 10 of those mines done on Mars. Earth orbit to Ganymede. That was my people. They arrived before their habitats. Okay, so the Hephaestus probably wants to stay in system until it can pick up the habitats to return, or the crew modules. And currently we have people living out of those crew modules until the underground habitats are built. So that Hephaestus is going to be sitting there for a smidge. I want to boost the radioactives off of Io. Yeah, I might want to boost a bunch of stuff off of Io, to be fair. Lots of valuable stuff there. That metal would be useful, the radioactives would be useful. Ooh, that's a question. What does it take to build radioactive generators? I would need some rare alloys. Or some of the exotic alloys. Also don't make any electronic circuits in system, do I? Well, there's nothing necessarily stopping me from doing those in the Jupiter's system. You gotta start dragging rares up there, because we don't make the system. Although the whole point, I think, is probably take the radioactives down to the moon. And then I can make them on the moon. Ship them out from the moon. Yeah. I'm technically reminding the radioactives on the moon as well. I might be reminding more radioactives than I need, honestly. I suppose that's a perfectly fine, reasonable problem to have. It's not like you can have nuclear proliferation in space from people stealing your radioactives from a place where they can't live. Sounds about right. Okay, Kronos, can I get you to go to Io? I'd like to take stuff off of Io. Go with full hydrogen. And take along as much as you can. I'm completing a Callisto. Jupiter orbit. Oh, that was okay. We've got people inbound to Callisto. Apparently, it's taking longer to build out the carve out the Ganymede habitation. So, well, that's going to be multiple years. So that means I've got this Hephaestus sitting around for multiple years. I'm not going to have him sit around for multiple years. The logic being is I don't... Yeah, he can go and return in that amount of time. So we're gonna have him go and return in that time. So get to Jupiter orbit. Have him do a fuel run down to Earth. Want the metal off of Io first, or the radioactives off of Io first? You know, I think I want those radioactives off first, so... Let's do a cyclical mission. This is... Io orbit. On the Kronos. I need to actually class it as cyclical if I want it to be cyclical. Kronos. Io add. Pizzazz. Return to nothing. You need a launch vehicle because the Kronos is a launch vehicle. After 3 transfers. 4 transfers because I want you back on Io for carrying metal. Okay. Okay, it's done. So we've put the IO, well, 2,000 tons of IO fissiles in orbit. I'm now going to have... Where did the Kronos go? Give it a moment to reappear. There it is. Okay, now the Kronos is going to basically do the same thing, but with the metal. This is also a cyclical mission. And metal. Got 4 trips, so 4 ups, 4 downs, and I want actually 4 ups, 3 downs. I wanted to stop in space. So after 4 ups plus 3 downs is 7 transfers. Mission ends. There we go. Anyhow, I worked out. I think this Hephaestus is just going to be able to go and return to Earth. Do you want to bring in hydrogen or bring stuff? Stuff. I'm going to go with the stuff option. Okay, so I'm gonna have to bring over 1,000 tons of fissiles, so the Hephaestus can carry a full load of fissiles back to Earth. The Prometheus I want to move to Io. You know, add hydrogen, so we've got hydrogen orbit when you get there. Ping-pong back and forth, hopefully. And then have it do a cyclical mission back and forth between Io and Ganymede orbit. Got another rain at Earth. Now, what do I want that rain to do? I've got hydrogen going or being picked up from Jupiter, brought back to Earth. Do I want the same at Mars? Or do I want the same for Letitia? I'm gonna say I don't want the same for Letitia, but I do want Letitia to have a top off. Letitia is getting low. Let's take this array. Let's send it to Jupiter. It's flying empty out. Because the whole point of this is to go retrieve hydrogen for the transfer. Okay, no. We're definitely going near this launch window. We've missed the peak on the launch window, that's why it's jumping to the next one. And then yeah. You can definitely burn some more to get there quicker. Here we go. 6 months out. Go. Jupiter orbit to Earth. Best die. Full load of fissiles. You don't need anything. Take a full tank. Optimal window. Then on Io, we have the Prometheus in orbit. I want you to do cyclical transfers to move that metal to Ganymede orbit. There's one thing that Ganymede Orbit provides me is a very good source of... Well, actually, it doesn't provide me a very good source because we're going to run out of the good source pretty quickly. 45 years. But it provides me a decent source of carbon, with which I can... Well, let me rephrase that. It provides me a source of carbon that I can turn into polymer. As I'm thinking about it, like, oh, 0.2 is bad. But 6.1 megatons, we're not going to run out anytime soon. Especially at such a terrible mining rate. Arguably, the Amathea one is more accessible. Although that one's going to run out pretty quickly. If I were to start seriously mining it. The current rate it's 300 years, which is not... It's because we're not seriously mining it. Yeah, let's... So, not Jupiter, this is... Io orbit to Ganymede. We're doing not go to Ganymede. I'm not going to go to Ganymede. I'm going to go to Callisto. I need more metal on Callisto to mine more metal. Prometheus. This is a cyclical mission using the Prometheus. Io, you are retrieving metal. You're grabbing nothing from Callisto orbit. You need no launch vehicle existence, orbit to orbit. And I'm doing 5 trips out. And I don't actually care where it ends, so I might as well not make the trip back from Callisto to Io, so 9 transfers. And then Kronos at Jupiter, please go to Io. You're bringing nothing with you. Pretty much nothing with you. And then I'd like you to do the Io orbit back to Jupiter. With the fizzles. There we go. Earth orbit arrived at Mars. That is more people arriving on Mars. So at this point, I actually want more satellites. Yes, I want more satellites. There is an achievement. Oh, we haven't actually got to positive yet. We're still at negative 9,000. There's an achievement for getting 5,000 people on Mars. So I think I want to go up to enough satellites that I can support or get the revenue from communication to 5,000 people. And then get 5,000 people to Mars. I think it's the plan. Oh no, the habitation's done on Mars. Okay. I probably want more hab space, if that's the case. Get some more hab space going. And then, again, I think we're going to follow that with just more mining. And I'm going to plan a Mars to Mars orbit launch. There's an orbital payload container. We will get those crew modules back in orbit in this launch. So they can make their own trip. Now, with the rest of the space in this launch, because I can carry 3,000 tons up, I want to bring up communication satellite stuff. That is glass, that is alloy, that is polymer, that is electronics. I only have enough polymer for 6 of them. Because they cost 30 polymer each, so 180 is 6. Next big thing is alloys. 6 of them is 150 alloys. Next thing is electronics. That would be 15 times 6 is 90. I'm doing this mental math. I'm not doing it on a calculator if you're wondering why I'm humming and hawing. And that's 6 times 5 is 30. So push all that in orbit. I was thinking of pushing more, and then I realized we didn't have the polymers. So we're just going to push what we can. Well, that's maybe an argument to do a quick milk run. Get more carbon so I can spool up more polymer production, I suppose. Either way, this is what we're launching. So we're launching you to orbit on the Pelican. Nowhere near the Pelican fall. But so you need carbon. You got 58 years. So you're not in a rush. You've actually run out of water. So Demos is on borrowed time. Granted, that borrowed time is potentially 422 years if we were going to continue sort of the previous thought process. Okay. Needless to say, the water ice extractors can go. They're not doing anything anymore. And I suppose we can get that crew making silicon instead. Refabricate that water ice extractors to the degree that we can into more silicon. Mine Demos dry. Phobos, on the other hand, is my carbon source. I could use the Pelican there just to chuck all the carbon to orbit. You also need water. Okay, so let's I should have launched water, because I don't really want to launch water from Demos at this point. Although I can do that, that won't be too bad. It's a light enough load. Okay. So, water to... I don't have anything in Demos orbit to launch to, so that's going to complain. Fair enough. Water to Phobos. It's going to make me do it the hard way, but fair enough. Demos to Demos orbit. Okay. And then, yeah, we're going to launch a bunch of carbon to orbit. I'm going to ferry it over to Mars. Add resources, carbon. We'll do 8 trips worth, so we'll do 8,000 tons of carbon. The Pelican's going to have a really easy time getting that to orbit. That's a single launch on the Pelican. Jupiter orbit arrived at Io. Oh, it's because it's the cyclic mission. Okay, I don't think that's over. That's... Yeah, it's not over. Just finished the first one. Okay, so Prometheus. I need you to go Demos. Orbit. Or Mars orbit. I then want you to pick up the... Oh no. First go to Demos orbit. Taking nothing from Mars to Demos. Just go to Demos. Then, once you're at Demos, take that to Phobos. What you're taking is the water. Is there no hydrogen in orbit? In Phobos orbit? There's no hydrogen in Phobos orbit. There's hydrogen on Phobos. Or on Demos. It's just none in orbit. Ah. That's, setback. Because that means I need to get the Pelican to... I need a Pelican launch. Okay. So I need to wait 47 days to get my hydrogen to orbit. Which weirdly means I'm probably just as easy to drop this back in Phobos. On Demo. Or, no, we'll leave it in orbit because I... Yeah, okay. Okay, Demos... Demos orbit. Orbital payload container. Put 100 tons in orbit, please. Okay, so now... I think Demo's still... No, the Prometheus is there. I gotta wait until... Okay. So now the Prometheus can take the water to Phobos. And they're going to have it take the carbon we launched to Mars by a cyclical mission. Let me guess, Phobos has no hydrogen. Phobos has some hydrogen in orbit. Okay, so I'm going to set up a cyclical mission and hopefully not regret it. Cyclical mission... Phobos orbit to Martian orbit. Prometheus. Phobos orbit pick up not hydrogen, but carbon. Right, Phobos has the carbon. Phobos has in orbit 8,000 carbon. Pick up nothing at Mars. You need no vehicles for back and forth. After 19 transfers. Stop. Should leave it on Mars. And I've realized I've gone over time, so I'm going to complete this up, and then we're going to put a part break in. And then we'll hopefully get to proper profit rating. Pretty close. Proper profit rating in the next one. We just got the hydroponics farm tech, so we're going to get even more food per building going forward. That was regular adaptation. Yeah, aeroponics is the one we got to come up next. That's more production. Biological machines, more production. And I think we're going to roll through the orbital power, well, all the power techs, I think is what we're going to do next after that. And then we'll go for lowering food consumption. Cancel mission. Insufficient propellant, need more hydrogen on Phobos. Okay. No, used up everything in orbit. There still is more in orbit. That's mathing it a little weird. They did do, it might have done a partial transfer because it didn't have enough hydrogen to transit. Either way, we got a chunk in orbit. I'll sort out the remainder of that transit in the next one. So if you're watching on YouTube, we will have another part up tomorrow. I don't want to keep you here too long in this already overtime episode. I think in the next one we should get properly positive in revenue. We're down to 6K, negative 6K. So at this rate, we could burn pretty consistently our 4 million at 6K, and that wouldn't be a problem. But I'd like to get it proper positive. So that we can start thinking about things we're bringing back to Earth not being to pay the balance, but to buy other things. I also want to build more ships. Ships are going to add to the upkeep, so it's a kind of a balancing act as we expand the ships. So yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, we'll have another part up tomorrow. If you're watching on Twitch, we're going to take a short break here, so we can get up, stretch the legs, sip some tea, and if you're watching, it might be a good time. If you're watching on Twitch, it might be a good time to do that yourself. And then we'll be back after probably the ad break. The ad break hasn't already happened already. So until the next part, I'm going to wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part and or stream, and bye for now.